The dog visited his owner's funeral to say goodbye to him. Sadie the dog proves that humans aren't the only ones who grieve the loss of a loved one. When the man who raised her from a puppy, Andy Beaulieu, died from a sudden heart attack, the 13-year-old mixed-breed dog was right by his side. After the paramedics could not revive and save Andy, Sadie laid down beside him and was snuggling his hand. Jeremy May, president of Elements Cremation, Pre-Planning and Burial located in Langley, British Columbia, told Today. During the 10 days between Beaulieu's death and funeral, Sadie started showing signs and symptoms of grief, said May, who helped organize Beaulieu's memorial service. Grief is not a human emotion. Love is not a human emotion. These are emotions we share with other animals, Barbara J. King, anthropology professor at the College of William and Mary and author of How Animals Grieve, told Today. King defines pet grief as some kind of really altered behavior that suggests stress, such as social withdrawal, altered feeding or sleeping habits, or distressed vocalizations and body language which persists for a while. Sadie certainly fits that description. After accompanying her best friend to work every day for more than a decade, she tirelessly waited by the window for Beaulieu to return home. After his sudden death, she couldn't sleep on her own, stopped eating, and swiftly lost 10 pounds. According to King, many studies have shown that dogs grieve for each other, but the really important thing to understand is that when a pet mourns one of us, is that it's because they have the emotional capacity that comes from their own relationships with other animals in their species. Having Sadie involved in Beaulieu's service was not just a spur-of-the-moment decision. From the moment Andy passed away, Beaulieu's wife Julia knew that Sadie was going to be there, said May. On the day of the funeral, Sadie, accompanied by Beaulieu's wife, was the last one to enter the room. The dog put her 2 front paws upon the casket and looked inside at her deceased companion. There was this unbelievable sense of emotion and power in the room because everyone knew the importance of Sadie to Andy, said May. After seemingly getting the closure she needed, May said Sadie calmly walked out, went home and ate 2 meals and started to heal and go back to her way of life. King speculates that Sadie's sense of peace may stem from 2 places. First, Sadie could be taking her cues from her remaining owner. It's very possible that the funeral was closure for the wife and Sadie may have picked up on certain closure that she felt. Second, maybe the dog, seeing her owner quiet, smelling differently, and clearly not in a living state, had a moment of realization. The idea of having pets at funerals isn't a new concept. May said an increasing number of people are pre-arranging for their pets to attend services, a practice he finds very important. It was an emotional moment, but a healing moment too. That day after Sadie returned home, she ate 2 full meals and her spirits had been lifted. The tenderness in the photo has also helped Sadie's mom cope with her loss. Sadly, however, May says that some funeral homes still would forbid an animal inside to say goodbye as Sadie had. Hopefully, this dog's story will help inspire things to change for family members like her. If anybody ever doubts the level of understanding and emotional capacity our dogs have, this experience should lay that to rest, May said. Our pets need closure as well. They feel loss and experience grief. The bond between dogs and their humans is so special. To many, their furry friends are just as important to them as family members are. Though some may not think that dogs share the same love and compassion toward their owners, there are plenty of miraculous stories out there that seem to prove otherwise. When they get lost, dogs will walk amazing distances to find their homes in humans again, seemingly running off of nothing but their need to be back in loving arms. Some sweet dogs have even given their lives for their families, like this amazing pooch who saved a little girl in the middle of a fire. But Bayron's story is definitely one of the sweetest I've heard. After this dog's owner's health worsens and she passes away, he goes missing and is presumed gone forever. But he turns up again in the most amazing place imaginable, the owner's funeral. Doña Rosalba Quiros' family and friends gathered at her funeral in Mexico to say goodbye. Then they were greeted by a miraculous guest, her beloved dog Bayron, who had gone missing 15 days prior. Quiros and her beloved dog lived on a ranch where she'd been battling cancer before going to live with her relatives after her health deteriorated. But she would still return to care for Bayron, who stayed behind. But her health worsened and she couldn't return, so she asked her family to take care of him in her place. Unfortunately, when they went back to the ranch to retrieve him, he was nowhere to be found. Quiros passed away over the next couple of weeks and everyone assumed that they would never see poor Bayron again. That was until he amazingly showed up at the funeral procession, eager to say goodbye to his late mommy. We normally don't let animals in, but the dog was howling and scratching at the door, so we brought him in, the funeral home staff worker explained to El Sol. Once inside, the grieving doggy lied alongside Quiros' coffin to be close with her one last time. He even got up to view the body with all the guests. We've never seen a case like this, explained the owner. We're all surprised how the animal, without knowing, arrived alone to say goodbye to his owner. This sweet doggy proves that pet love is stronger than distance, or even death. Another heartbreaking moment. Heartbreaking footage shows a mourning dog paying its final respects to his owner at her funeral. Pitbull Zeus was allowed to pop his front paws onto the casket to take a last look at his owner in her open coffin in Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua State, North Mexico. The video was shared on TikTok by user Herrera Nalegi, where it has been viewed 4.6 million times. In the video clip, the dog is seen accompanied by the message, "We will miss you, mommy." Footage shows Zeus sitting loyally by the coffin and then being helped to take one last look at his mistress in her casket. She was not named by local media. But social media users had a lot to say about the viral video, which prompted much emotion amongst viewers. One TikTok user commented, "Thank you for letting him say goodbye to his granny and my deepest condolences." Another remarked, "This dog feels so much love for Grandpa." Another added, "Dogs confirm that our loved ones are still among us after they pass away." And someone else wrote, "This made me cry." In November, The Mirror told how a farmer who lost his best friend, sister, and dog in the space of a year and took on mammoth charity challenge in their honor. Leo Dean was struggling to come to terms with recent family bereavements and decided to walk a huge trek from Congleton in Cheshire to Glasgow, Scotland while pushing a garden wheelbarrow. The 57-year-old was devastated when his best friend Joey Henshaw passed away in January, which was followed by the death of his border collie Rollo just weeks later. The farmer said, "Joey was like a brother to me and it was really upsetting when he passed away. Then Rollo died a few weeks later. Rollo was my best soulmate, he was as sweet as a nut." The white and tan collie lived with Leo on his Timbersbrook farm for 3 years, but began rapidly losing weight when he was diagnosed with cancer, dying just weeks later. But when Leo's sister Leah Wright died 5 weeks ago, he needed to do something to take his mind off the losses he'd endured over the last year. He said, "I didn't believe that Leah died, she was only 18 months older than me. I needed to get closure, and even though I'd seen the coffin, I didn't believe she was dead. I needed to do something, so I decided I was going to walk to Glasgow." A miracle happened. Last month in Italy, this elderly man named Giovanni suffered a heart attack while out for a walk with his dog Nancy. Paramedics arrived in time to resuscitate the 73-year-old, but he fell into a coma after arriving at hospital. Nancy, who'd watched as the ambulance took her lifelong companion away, was heartbroken. In the days that followed, with Giovanni in a vegetative state in the ICU, Nancy never gave up hope. Under the care of the man's daughter, Deborah, the little dog held vigil by the front door awaiting Giovanni's return. It was around this time that Deborah learned about a new program offered at the hospital which allows patients to be visited by their pets. With that, Giovanni and his dog were soon reunited, but no one could have expected what happened next. When Nancy entered the room and was placed by Giovanni's side, it elicited a response in him not seen since he entered the coma. His body began to stir in gentle convulsions, as if from excitement about his dog's presence. Nancy, meanwhile, wagged her tail. "She stayed close and kissed my father," Deborah tells the dodo, adding that his expression changed in that moment like he was going to cry. "I like to think that was him saying, 'Hello, little one, now we can say goodbye.'" Sadly, Giovanni is not expected to awaken from the coma and will soon be transferred to a long-term care facility, but Deborah says he appears to be more at peace since being visited by his dog. Nancy, too, has been happier since the visit. For Vai Calzavara, who helps coordinate pet visitations at the hospital, the benefits of such a program are evident in Nancy and Giovanni's reunion. "It benefits both patients and pets," she told the dodo, "because the human-animal bond is one of pure and inseparable love. Dogs are very social animals, and when their owner or family member is missing, it will wait for it to return. Dogs have very good memory, so when the owner returns, the dog will naturally get very excited to have the family reunited. Treats at the same time, you get it. Give him some turkey or chicken or some type of meat that doesn't have any seasoning on it to supplement his food. Dogs naturally sense our emotions. Happiness, anger, sadness, they sense danger. They can tell if someone is genuinely a good or bad person. As I said, your dog would probably come close, smell you, lick or kiss you, but as someone already said, it all depends on their intelligence level. After they would smell you, they would realize there's no real danger, so they would probably wonder what the hell you're doing. Dogs don't understand that they've been given away. To them, the pack has driven them away. For a short time, they mourn the loss, but when the new pack shows them welcome, they settle in pretty quickly and learn to love the new pack. We do not, and since people come and go from my home regularly, he is exposed to hundreds of peaceful, kind people every month. For our dogs, a new home was a gift from heaven.